kind of quiet down. We'll get on the record. We'll get the meeting going.
For some reason, they're short in here. Seems odd. Let's get that.
Like, what?
Oh,
How much does Andrew carry?
Thanks for coming, you guys.
I know, it feels weird.
Ron? Welcome, everybody. It is 5:32 p.m. on May 3rd, 2023. We are here for our regularly agendized Middleton City Council meeting. And we'll call the meeting to order with a roll call, please.
Council President Kaiser.
Here.
Councilmember Huggins. Councilmember Murray.
Here.
Councilmember O'Meara.
here.
Thank you very much. A note, Councilman Huggins scheduled vacation time off. Tim, special thanks to you. Your wife's just getting out of surgery and showing up. We really appreciate it, so we can have a quorum and get this, keep this program rolling. Cancel a city council meeting at the last second is really a problem. So special thanks to you, Tim. All right, if you'll stand for the pledge, we'll have an invocation after that. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jim Taylor's consented to give an invocation for us. Jim?
As we're in God's grace, shall we pray? Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the many blessings you've bestowed upon us. We ask you to continue to bless our city, state, and our nation. We ask you to bless this county council with wisdom and justice. Bless our special services, our police, fire, and EMTs. Bless our military for those serving and defending our nation. Dear Heavenly Father, bless especially these young people that are here who may be called upon to defend this nation. Again, we thank you for all your blessings. Please care for those that are in need. Feed the hungry. And above all, we thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ. In your holy name, amen.
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 Thank you very much, Jim. Appreciate that. Action item A, Mr. Chairman, is to approve it. The agenda is printed.
Council questions? I move we approve the agenda posted April 28th at 10:30 a.m.
Second.
Motion by Kaiser, second by O'Meara. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is unanimous. Special or information item, a little special recognition tonight to a truly deserving organization with just a little bit of qualification. There's the along Mill Creek off Middleton Road, clear over to Sawtooth. The Mill Creek drain runs through there, and there was stuff piled on the banks, some places several feet high, concrete, lots of wood, debris, mud, tires. There was even an old rule for commissioner sign dug out of that ditch there somewhere. So just about everything you can imagine was on this ditch bank. And I put it out for a bid, and one company came back with a bid to clean it and pave it for $146,000. So I said, well, we can't do that. We don't have that kind of money. So we put out a bid to just clean it, and a local contractor here came back with basically a $46,000 bid. And at that time, Mitch Armuth happened to be in our office, and Mitch Armuth is with Hubble Homes. And he said, what are you guys doing here? And told him, well, we're trying to get a walking trail built so the citizens of Middleton can walk from Middleton Road, clear through Sawtooth, down to the Boise River, up the Boise River, an old haul road that was there since it was a feedlot time, back up Middleton Road. It'd be about a 2-mile loop or so, 3-mile loop. And he said, you know, we have a bunch of contractors and we do a benevolent act. We try to do something for the community every year. And says, we don't have anything this year. Would you be willing to let us do that? Well, yeah, how much will it cost? And he said, well, let me get with our partners and contractors that work with us, and we'll just do it. And he finally got across to me, they were going to do it for $0 to the taxpayers of Middleton. So with that, the next Tuesday, this was on a Thursday, I think. The next Tuesday, Hubble Homes and their friends, and you can look on that sign and see who the friends are. And I'm going to put them on record right now. It's, first of all, Don Hubble and Hubble Homes, and working with them was Miles Ellison, and Benton Wickersham, Mitch Armuth, and Patrick O'Connor. Those are the Hubble Home guys. These other companies show up, Dahl Construction, Chris Fox. If any of you guys are here, would you stand up as I call your name? Mountain Companies, Jesse Rawson, Precision Excavation, RJ Lee. Patrick Connor's not here, but I think some of the Hubble Home peoples are here. And introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about why you guys do this.
Yeah, so I'm Austin Edwards with Hubble Homes, kind of on our engineering side of the land development. This is Benton Wickersham, and as you mentioned, Patrick Connor, Miles Ellison, and Mitch Armuth were all involved. And like the mayor said, we were just happened to be in the office, and we could see how his and Becky's eyes light up when they talk about just the Mill Creek and the whole development that they have planned, and just the whole space with the park and the ponds and the river corridor and access and whatnot. And we thought it was a really great opportunity to be able to give back to the community. You know, we do in various ways throughout the year, all over the valley, and this is a great way that we could give back to Middleton for this year. So happy to do it. Benton here did a lot of the boots on the ground, actual manual labor with Miles, and so we're really appreciative of how much effort they put into it. You know, he's out there driving skid steers, pushing dirt around, hauling stuff in the dump trucks, and then Fall Tree, Dolly, Precision, Mountain Companies all donate equipment, materials, time, labor.
Benton, how many truckloads of debris did you guys move down to, or out off that ditch bank? Give me a rough.
We had an 80-yard tub take 5 loads to your guys' haul-off area, so it was pretty substantial.
Yes.
Stack of firewood you got going over there. So. Yeah, and that's not including concrete, another load of concrete and tires, so
Yeah.
yeah, it was a big job.
Well, thank you guys very much, and we want you to know we're very appreciative. There's an article in the Gazette that ran, and we have some plaques here that we'd like you guys to please take care to get to the partners in this, and that's Qualtree, John Rawson and Mountain Companies. There's Dahl Construction. Thank you. Here's the Hubble Homes, and I don't know whose office will get that, you know, but and also Precision. So we're going to take that sign and we're going to put it on two before posts and put it right at the front of that trail and leave it there at least for this season, if not as long as it lasts, you know. And would you take charge and make sure those other partners get a little bit of recognition out of this?
Yep. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Appreciate
Thanks,
that.
Austin.
Yep.
You're awesome, Ben. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks to Hubble Homes.
Thank you, guys.
Sir.
Mr. Chairman, we'll move on to action items. Consent agenda consists of A, approving minutes for City Council April 19, B, approving minutes for City Council April 27, C, consider ratifying payroll for April 21, 2023, D, consider approving accounts payable through April 21, E, consider authorizing a signature for Zener, F is authorizing a service estimate from Metro Quip, G is authorizing a signature for diesel service repair, H, amending the city's on-call professional roster to include Bear Landscape, and I, consider approving an application for a fireworks stand. Mr. Chairman.
Council questions? Accounts payable, notable, it's a little bit larger. That is the tail end of the Hartley sewer line. That was about half of that price right there. Questions on any of the other consent agenda items? And I move that we approve consent agenda items A through I.
Second.
Motion by Kaiser, second by O'Meara. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you very much.
Come on in for a minute.
Oh, come in,
This is
Miles.
Miles.
I didn't think I stood you up. I just, traffic was bad, so.
Hold on just a second. Come up to the stand. Now we're gonna go back to a little bit. This is Miles. He and Benton are really the guys that did 90% of the work
We worked
down
very
there.
hard.
You both worked pretty hard. Lanice and I are coming back from dinner about 7:30 on a Friday night, and Miles is out there scrubbing with a skidster. So I can't tell you guys what a rock star these two guys right here are. So thanks, Miles.
Thank you so much for giving us that opportunity. I can't wait to walk it.
All right.
Ben and I are gonna go check it out.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, back to the agenda as printed. Action item number 2 is to consider approving Middleton Chamber of Commerce special event permit for the 4th of July. And I think Miss English is here to handle that.
No, she's not here.
Okay, who is here?
No. I am.
And now put your names on the record for us, please.
Michelle Kendall and Tamara Zimmerman. We're just here to see if we can get special permit for the 4th of July celebration that we do every year at Park Place Park, and for the city to waive the fees for that.
Like we do it every year, don't we?
We do it every year. Yes, we do.
Yep.
All right, then I move we approve the Middleton Chamber of Commerce special event permit for the 4th of July celebration and parade and waive all fees.
Second.
Motion by Kaiser, second by O'Meara. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye, that's unanimous. You're good to go, ladies.
Thank you, ladies.
Item number 3 is to consider entering into an agreement with West Valley Humane Society and consider paying outstanding charges. Director Adkins here.
Yes.
Come on up, ladies.
Yes, thank you.
Would you introduce yourselves again, please?
We will, yes. My name is Jennifer Atkins, and I'm the Executive Director at West Valley Humane Society.
And I am Kimberly Dink, and I am the Director of Human Resources at West Valley Humane Society.
Thank you very much. And your request tonight is, or we give you this opportunity to address council.
Yeah, for sure. So we would like to extend an offer of partnership for the city of Middleton to enter into a contract with us so that we can continue to provide Middleton Police Department and Middleton residents animal shelter services. I've provided you all with kind of an outline of the benefits of partnership with our organization, which includes properly quarantining dangerous animals, animals that have bitten humans, helping to eliminate roaming strays, mitigating disease, communicable disease with roaming animals, assisting with positive PR and legal issues that your city may encounter, assist with community outreach and education opportunities for your members of your community, and assisting with licensing efforts in your city. And some of the services provided through partnership with the West Valley Humane Society would be the opportunity for Middleton Police Department agents or their designated officials to bring dogs and cats to us at 24-hour access to our building in the case that they needed to do that after business hours. We have ways that we can get them coded access into our building so that stray animals could have a place to go overnight. We also do other animals on approval, like livestock animals that are running at large, things like that. This would also give the Middleton residents the opportunity to bring in stray dogs and cats to us, as well as owner surrenders. So animals that owners are no longer able to take care of, we could continue to offer support for those folks as well. I also wanted to just give kind of a brief history of the services that we have already provided to Middleton residents and the police department. So in 2020, we took in 50 dogs and 61 cats. 41 of those dogs were brought in by the police department, just to kind of give you an idea of how many are brought in by just residents of the community and how many are brought in by the police department itself. In 2021, we took in 64 dogs and 54 cats. In 2022, we took in 65 dogs and 101 cats. And then to date, we have brought in 15 dogs and 12 cats. So if the City of Middleton signs a contract with West Valley Humane Society and continues to bring on average about 60 dogs per year, the annual average cost would be about $3,000 for the city at minimum, and usually about a maximum of $6,600 per year. Now this is just an estimate based on the average number of dogs that have been brought in the last several years. Of course, those prices could change depending on the population and how frequently you are utilizing our services. For that fee, the City of Middleton would also continue to receive additional cat services at no extra charge. That would be no extra additional cost to the city, but we usually provide services up to $10,000 depending on how many people are utilizing our community cat services as well. But we do not contract for cat-specific services, so that would just be an added bonus to that. The other item that's outstanding is the outstanding invoices for services already rendered in 2022 and for 2023 up until March. I don't have April's yet because I submitted this before we had done April's billing. The total outstanding charges that Middleton has currently is $8,280. And WVHS is willing to negotiate these outstanding charges, especially if you want to enter into a partnership with us. We want to help save you money because we feel that these are invaluable services that we can help provide you and your community members. And we'd be happy to talk about reducing to in-contract pricing or other negotiations on the outstanding bill to kind of help save the city some money as well. Every animal that comes into our facility costs us money as well, and our in-contract prices are deeply discounted for what we actually incur ourselves. So we just wanted to bring that to you all for consideration, and we really appreciate the opportunity to do so.
Well, thank you very much. A little bit of history on this. They came in maybe 3 months ago, and we had problems with an agenda and getting it posted. Glad you're here. And I want to recognize the service you guys perform for the county, not just Middleton, but you're the county, and even people out of the county utilize you, or no?
Yes, they do sometimes. We try to keep it within county, but we take everything that comes to us case by case. And so if there's a special case of an out-of-county person needing services through us, we can make exceptions for that. But we typically will stay within county, and then we have contracts with the city of Caldwell, the city of Nampa, and the city of Marsing as well.
Okay, and the county pays you.
For all unincorporated areas of the county.
You're contracted with the county.
That's correct.
You're telling me you're contracted with Marsing,
Correct.
Yes.
Nampa,
Correct.
and Caldwell.
Correct.
You say we have outstanding charges against us. Is there a contract we're not honoring?
Not currently, no.
These are just charges that you guys have recorded because the animals came from Middleton.
Correct.
Okay, got that. Those are some questions I needed to clear up. Council, questions or, Mr. Chairman?
Can you tell me currently how you guys are funded? Are you funded with county tax dollars?
We are funded partially by county contract.
Partially. county
Yes,
contract.
and through our city contracts with the city of Nampa, Caldwell, and Marsing.
Okay.
And that's usually just a fraction of what we actually,
Right, no,
use,
I
and so the
get
rest is
that.
donations.
I'm trying to put it
Yeah.
all together in my head here.
Yeah, so since we are still a nonprofit organization, a lot of our income comes from donations and
Okay.
both private and public partnerships.
So Middleton, Notice, Parma, Wilder, no contract.
Currently.
Currently, no.
And so will you be seeking a contract from Notice, Parma, and Wilder as well?
We are actively also engaged
Actively.
in conversations with them.
Okay, just, I'm
Yeah, absolutely.
trying to paint a picture here.
Yeah.
And then a county resident, so Middleton city resident who pays taxes to the county and to the city of Middleton, so they're getting double taxed. The
So-
same way as a Caldwell resident and a Nampa resident and a Marsing resident, because we all pay county taxes. And we're paying city taxes. But a county resident pays one time for the same service.
If I could clarify.
Sure.
So the way that our contracts are set up is the county, the contract only covers unincorporated areas. The services that we have provided previously to incorporated areas were due to that incorporated area utilizing Canyon County Animal Control. And so that's a county official that would then bring the animals into our facility. The cities themselves, when they stopped utilizing Canyon County to do their animal control services, that's when they entered into contract with us so that they had the ability to continue their animal shelter services. So we extended that to the city of Middleton while you were also still utilizing Canyon County Animal Control. However, for the last few years, you have not been using Canyon County Animal Control, so their contract no longer covered the services that we did continue to extend to you as we were attempting to negotiate contract services with you.
Right. That part I understand.
Mm-hmm.
My part is, I live in Middleton, I pay county taxes, I pay into that system. I pay city taxes, if the city pays into this, they pay into that system, so I'm paying twice
And again,
for this same service. If I take a dog in, and the guy that lives just across the city limit line takes a dog in, I have paid twice, he has paid once for the exact same service if we drive the dog over.
So again, the county contract, which is where we're getting those taxpayer dollars that we were discussing, that contract only covers unincorporated areas. If Canyon County Animal Control was also operating inside Middleton city limits, if you were still utilizing it, then I could see your argument actually being valid. However, you don't use Canyon County Animal Control services, and so we no longer have that shelter service tag along with Canyon County.
Right.
Canyon County contract only covers those unincorporated areas. So all of the other times that we have extended those animal shelter services to you it's been as sort of an extension, just as an attempt for us to continue to negotiate in good faith to actually enter into contract services with you. Much the same way that we have entered into contract services with the city of Nampa, with the city of Caldwell, and now with the city of Marsing as well.
Right, but
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Can I
please.
pick here a little bit?
Yeah.
When you say we no longer utilize the county services, that's because they said, no, we're just not gonna do that anymore. It's not that we wouldn't utilize them. New leadership there said, we're not gonna do that anymore for Middleton or for other cities. So how much do you charge a county I need to get a picture. If you go out and take a dog in from Canyon County, brings one in, what are associated fees per animal is that?
So our contract with Canyon County is a little bit different than our contracts with the city of Nampa and the city of Marsing and the city of Caldwell. And the reason for that is because they still own the building that we
Right.
inhabit.
Yep.
So our contract with them is a lease agreement that includes shelter services.
So-
for them,
so there's
we
no
do-
charge.
Correct. We don't charge them per animal. It's a blanket. They pay us this much per year, which is significantly more than what we
How
would be
much does
charging.
it cost for the city of Nampa to bring a dog to you?
It's the same charges that we also have quoted to you.
So how are you addressing the chairman's concern that, well, this much of the county's tax dollars are paying us, and only this much would be charged for the city of Middleton or Nampa or Wilder or any other city? How are you guys handling that?
So the contract that
Are
we.
you at all?
Yeah, so the contract that we have with, and I hope this answers your question. The contract that we have with Canyon County was a contract that was initiated when the shelter originally privatized. And the county saw the benefit of going from a little over $1 million budget, annual budget at that time, to a little over $300,000 budget, significantly reducing their costs, but still being able to provide that service to the unincorporated areas of the
I was trying to clarify something there, and it doesn't work that way, Mr. Chairman. Did you have anything else?
Yeah, I do, Max. We'll come back to that. So in your current support system, it's donations.
Correct.
I'm assuming some type of fundraising efforts, okay? A portion of your budget comes from the county general fund, right?
Correct. And Nampa and city and.
Yeah, I'm getting there. So a portion from, as you keep saying unincorporated, but everybody that lives in Canyon County pays into the same pot and then it's pulled out. So you can't differentiate unincorporated, incorporated in terms of that dollar. They don't track it that way. So that's, I'm just trying to nail down your funding sources here. And then, so I understand in my own head. And then Caldwell, Nampa, and Marsing contracts, and their contracts are all the same, similar to what you've presented to us, or are they Nampa is a much larger city with much more dogs than Middleton or Marsing, so I'm trying to understand, you're saying they're the same contract, but
They're the same per animal fee.
per animal fee, okay,
Yes.
thank you, that
Yeah.
helps me clarify.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
that's all I have at this moment, I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
Councilman O'Meara?
I was just trying to figure out whether or not it was charged as, on our property taxes, as a line item like Middleton Fire, the cemetery district. Okay, so we're basically just paying the same county taxes that everybody else is.
Yeah, it's not a line, it doesn't have a levy. That would be the
All right.
explanation. It comes out of the general fund, as the chairman pointed out.
Well, in my mind, then the chairman's right, we're paying twice. So,
Ms. Crofts, did you have something?
Yeah, I'd like some clarification too. When I reviewed the initial contract when it came in, or request back in, I think it was December, so I'm going way back in my memory.
Yeah.
So if I misrepresent, I apologize. When part of what was a little bit hard for me to understand was there are about 10,000 people in the city of Middleton, the city. There are about 26,000 people who call, that are, so another 10,000, 16,000 people in the unincorporated Canyon County who call themselves Middleton and are. They're the greater Middleton. So when they come in and drop off an animal, dog or whatever, how do you differentiate? Because the taxpayers of Middleton are paying this bill, this $3,000 that you estimated. How do you know if they live in the city or if they live in the unincorporated greater Middleton area?
That's a really good question. We pull that data directly from the Canyon County Assessor's map. So we are able to determine what is Middleton City and what is not Middleton Incorporated City.
And so you ask for their address and they,
We actually ask where the animal was found, and we do require major crossroads to determine what jurisdiction that falls into.
okay, thank you. And second question is, after that animal comes in, and it goes back out, what is the rate of recovery? So if I'm understanding the model correctly, the animal would come in and the city would be charged, I'm just gonna say $30 because I don't know what it is, so just for numbers. The city would be logged a $30 fee. The animal, if it was recovered and returned, does that owner also pay a fee to recover their pet?
So I'll go ahead and answer that, that's okay. So the way that the model works is if an animal comes into our facility, then while that animal is still on its stray hold, that's where the city's contract comes into play. Once an owner comes to claim it, the city's responsibility ends, and then the owner's responsibility starts, and so then the owner is required to pay those other fees.
But the city's still charged the 30, and then when the dog leaves, that owner would also be charged an amount.
Correct, the remainder fees.
An amount. So 30 coming in and an additional, I don't know, let's just say 30 going out. Okay, so those are just some things that I found interesting, that the city wouldn't be relieved of its responsibility for the animal coming in once it was recovered by the owner of the pet.
And that's an area too where contracting with us and us helping to get licensing fees, because that is how a bunch of cities, not just here that we contract with, but the model nationwide, that's how some of the municipalities are able to recoup their cost, is to charge those licensing fees to the pet owner. And that's another way for them to make up that difference.
Okay, that answers my questions.
Does the county have licensing fees? What cities have licensing fees?
Currently, Nampa, Caldwell, and then I understand that Ybor City also does have licensing. So with our contract with Nampa and Caldwell, written in that contract, the animals that are going back to Nampa or back to Caldwell, those owners are required to purchase that licensing, which supports your licensing program, and those fees go back to you.
Didn't know we had a licensing fee. I'm learning this tonight. Councilman Murray.
We recently had a discussion on, sorry, I'm actually going into our city code here. We recently had a discussion on feral cat colonies. Do you offer services for trapping, neutering, and returning?
We do. We have a pretty robust community cat program where we offer citizens the opportunity to spay and neuter community cats, so those free roaming feral cats in their community. Right now, we offer four of those services or those surgeries for free, and then after that, it's $25 per cat for the person to get the spay and neuter, the vaccines for the cats, the ear tips so that they're easily identified as a cat that has already been fixed, and then they come and pick the cat back up and return it to where that cat was trapped.
Okay. Question for the city. Why do we have an outstanding bill that we weren't aware of? Did you guys communicate that debt to us, or?
So yes, back in, this started in February of 2022. My predecessor, Carly Cantrell, was in negotiation with the mayor, I believe, and I may be speaking incorrectly on that, but I'm sure I have documentation on exactly who was involved in those email exchanges. But it was the chief of police at the time too, which I know is not your current chief of police. I know that there's been some changes there in leadership since then. So that conversation was happening back in February on. It sounded to me like back in about October of 2022, we were reaching an understanding or going to have a meeting, and that is when Carly Cantrell was unfortunately murdered and was unable to continue those conversations, obviously. I was hired and I started January. So I tried to pick the ball back up and kind of pick up where Carly left off. I know Kimberly also reached out in December, kind of in that interim period, where we did not have a permanent director, and was working with, emailing back and forth with the chief of police and with the mayor at that point.
For the record, I knew Carly very well from the county. I haven't had a conversation with Carly since probably 18 or 19. So your statement that I've talked to Carly is just wrong. Now, I don't know who she was talking to here. Maybe
I believe she was speaking with the prior chief.
Chief
Chief
Takiuchi.
correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's why I said I'm unsure who was on that email chain off the top
Let's
of my
clear
head.
that up before this mayor gets pinned with
I totally understand, I'm not trying to throw
contract
anybody
that
under the
doesn't
bus.
exist. Okay, he's never had any conversation with.
Gotcha.
And we're super happy to provide that email stream for anybody who would like to have that historical reference. We do still maintain that email stream of Carly's communications regarding this topic.
Thank you.
Mayor, I have a couple more now, but I've thought it through.
Mr. Chairman.
Has Middleton ever had a contract with the service? Never. Well, why would we just say we want the county's animal control to come take that off the burden of our local officers?
I guess I don't quite understand your question.
So you said that in the county, who brings you animals from the county?
County animal control officers.
County animal control officers. We're in the county, why don't we just use in Middleton County Officer Control to handle our,
I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know why you stopped using county.
that wasn't our choice.
I understand. Regardless, we didn't have any control over who you were
Right.
using or not using. So,
But if we said we want to use the county, we live in the county, we pay taxes to the county, we pay county animal control people, we're a part of that. I mean, I'm trying to understand, why wouldn't we just use them to do that? I mean, our officers are busy enough as it is, rather than trying to pick up animals all the time.
I think
with
that would be
everything.
a great asset to your officers, to take that burden off of your officers. But again, that's obviously outside our scope of.
Right,
of how you
so
operate.
I guess my point here is that this is new, this contract is new. Years ago, when we started on the police force, our residents in Middleton were charged extra for a Canyon County Sheriff to patrol this area, which they're already required to do by state law. Okay, I don't want to see our residents paying extra just because they live in the city of Middleton for animal control that someone half a mile from their house gets for less money. Someone in Parma, someone in Notice, someone in Wilder, they're not paying these fees yet the same service. They're receiving the level of service that we currently are. So I'm confused as to why now the contract and not in 2020, 2019, 2018, I mean, why all of a sudden now? Is it a funding issue? That's one. And then I have another question too, in terms of just fees that go with it. But can you kind of help me understand then, why are we at this point now in 2022, 2023, why weren't we here in 2020, why weren't we here 2019, 18? Does that make sense?
So, could you just, first of all, could you remind me when you discontinued using the sheriff's department for your police?
I can't,
It was
not off the top of my head.
4 or 5 years ago-ish?
Maybe longer.
Okay. The initial conversation was had by Carly Cantrell with the city of Middleton many years ago. So
Okay.
this is not necessarily a new process. This is literally a process that Carly initiated years ago and was trying to facilitate and still operating in good faith and still remaining, providing these services to your community members. So although it may be possibly new for a few of you, it's really not a new thing. It's
Mr.
been a few
Chairman,
years.
I unfortunately have more knowledge in this area than I wish to express at this time, but I was county commissioner at the time. Chris Smith and the animal shelter provided services to the cities. when Sheriff Donahue became sheriff, he said, we're not doing this anymore. The cats and dogs for the cities need to be handled by the cities. And that's when that service stopped. There was never a contract with Middleton. This charge is just that the county quit doing it. They're taking in Middleton dogs. They said, we're gonna charge Middleton. So that's how these charges became charges.
Okay, that helps. So that helps a lot, actually. That makes a lot more sense to me. So I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Why haven't I heard of this before? And trust me, I've been sitting here longer than I care to mention. Your adoption fees. Well, if I want to go in and adopt a dog, how much does that? How long is the dog there, and then what is your cost and what is my cost? I'm trying to understand how you get your costs back.
Yeah, so first of all, we are required to hold a canine for 5 business days, excluding weekends and holidays. So
Okay.
that's the straight hold period. It usually tends to be about 7 days, depending on weekends, holidays, how they fall, right? So we do hold a canine during that time, unless an owner comes forward and wants to process that reclaim. They want to get their animals out.
Right.
So that's our hold period. How the fees, the adoption fees are structured, depend on a lot of different factors. A lot of different factors, including age, health, adoptability. It includes things like how many services we put into that animal, how likely it is to be adopted. Obviously, we want to. Our goal is to get every adoptable animal into a home, regardless of age, health, breed, etc. Right? So, those animals are determined really on a case-by-case and some national standards kind of policies for setting those adoption fees.
So just to give you a baseline, 25 is, it can be anywhere from $25 to $500, depending on the services that are provided.
Okay.
Yep, for that animal.
So then the city, again, I'm going back to your fee. So as a Middleton resident, I go in and I adopt a dog from you guys. And I adopt a dog for $25. Okay. Not only have I paid taxes into paying for that dog being there, the city has paid again for that, per animal price. Now I'm paying as a resident again to get the dog back out. So there's multiple charges there that the city, that money's not coming back into the city, is what I'm getting at. So in terms of an adoption fee, the adoption fee doesn't cover the length of time the dog was there, unless the dog can sit in your place for $25 for 7 days. Okay, so you're not recouping your costs that way with the dog, with just pure adoption fees, which I get that. You're trying to get dogs in every home. I totally understand that. I want that too. I'm just being cautious of, it's just one more thing that living in a city you're paying for, that your neighbor, if you live on the edge of city limits, your neighbor is not paying this in their thing. It's one more thing out of our coffers. I'm not saying it's not a good program or anything like that. I'm being very mindful of every nickel we have to rub together, because we ain't got very many of them.
Yeah, I understand. Obviously, we have the same things in mind as far as being able to keep our doors open, because keeping our doors open allows us to continue to provide these services for the community as well as for these animals that are in need. The other thing that I think it might be great to highlight is that whatever those fees are, they don't cover the cost that we put into those animals. So our need to recoup that cost where it is reasonable and appropriate is pretty high. So,
Mr. Chairman.
Just for example,
Hang on, Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman's got another question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, one just popped
That's
into
okay.
my head as I was doing this.
Yeah.
And this goes back to your fees from 2021, right? How come this is you're tracking those fees then, how come we didn't have a bill from 2020 or 2019?
Unfortunately, Carly's not here to answer that.
Okay, so that was under, so this is
purview.
so you would say this is more of even though she was trying to get this ball rolling, this is more of a new concept in terms of, how long have you had a contract with Caldwell, Nampa, and Marcy?
Continued. So I believe the year that we entered into contract with Nampa was 2011 or 12.
Oh, okay.
So many, many years. And then with Caldwell, once they initiated their animal control officers and stopped utilizing the county, we entered into contract with them too. So I think that's been about 4 or 5 years.
Okay, I'm just, that popped into my head that, you know, you got these bills for us, which, okay, but I'm like, why didn't we have a bill in 2020?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Unfortunately, we can't.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Okay, I just, get in my head.
Ms. Crofts?
As this will be a budget consideration, I just do have another question. If an animal is brought in, is it a one-time charge, or are the daily rates until the animal is adopted, or recovered, or whatever? Are those daily rates also billed to the city, or are those absorbed in some other way?
Those, for the stray period, so for those 5 business days, those are billed per day. So the impound fee counts for that first day, it covers that first day, and then there's an additional boarding fee for each day of those 5 straight hold days. After those 5 straight holds, we incur all the cost of care for those dogs.
I'm just trying to understand the dynamics, how it may, the budget may shift a lot if this is an approved decision.
Councilman Murray?
What's the proposed length of the contract?
We typically do 12 months, so 1 year. We also have done 2-year contracts in the past, so 24 month. So it's negotiable. Typically, folks like to choose for a 12 months so that it can be constantly reevaluated.
Teach me about the liabilities of picking up an animal if it bites. Where does the city, is the city ever liable for any of these damages that maybe a sick or a toothed animal might cause? Teach me about the liability of animal control. Do we have liability when it hits your facility?
No, once it enters our facility, our insurance covers all of the liability that happens inside our facility. So we do have a robust commercial liability.
If my officer picks up a vicious or rabid animal, any damage up to the time it hits your facility is the city's liability?
That is correct.
Okay.
Much like the way that you operate now with the animals that you have been bringing in, that's
Okay.
until it comes into our facility, or until our staff is interacting with it. So just hypothetically speaking, if your officer were to bring it, step inside of our facility, and that's where the officer gets bit. Unfortunately, at that time, the officer's still in control of that animal. Until we take control of that animal, that's where our liability begins.
Any more questions? Go, Mr. Councilman Murray.
So I was looking for this isn't the question, I was looking for an ordinance on licensing, which they mentioned. I don't think we have one. But just for the record, biting is prohibited under city code.
You need to get that out to all animals.
Yes.
I apologize, I believe I had read a licensing program in your city, and I may have misspoken, maybe a different ordinance.
It's possible I just missed it,
Okay,
but I'm just
yeah.
looking.
We have a lot of different city ordinances,
Yes.
county and state, and,
Yeah.
so.
There's some chattering going on. For the record, Middleton, Ms. Crofts just verified, we do not have it.
But, and then Officer Hilke said we did, so we should probably clarify.
All right, so there's some clarification here. Any more questions
Yeah.
for the presenters at this time? Ladies, thank you for a presentation.
Thank you.
That will conclude your involvement in this. You're welcome to be seated. And
Thank you. Thank you for your time, I do appreciate it.
you bet. Yeah, we've all learned a lot here. So the item reads, consider entering into an agreement. Is there a contract before us at this time, council? You aware of anything, Ms.
I
Crofts?
didn't see a contract in the packet. The packet that came through had a couple of invoices as they've shown, the information you've seen on your screen.
Not invoices, but a contract.
I didn't see a contract in the packet.
Okay.
I didn't see one either.
How do you want to proceed, council?
Well, until we see a contract, there is no proceeding, so we can go ahead and table this until we have a contract. Our attorneys can look at the contract, and then we can make a decision when we see an actual contract.
Okay.
That's my view, council. Any other thoughts on that?
Well, until I know that I'm not being double billed, I really don't want to enter into a contract. I want to know where that funding is going. If the city's paying twice or just once.
Okay.
Should probably have a conversation with the county about animal control as well.
Yeah, there's a few things that were brought up, yes. Then I'm gonna move that we table item number 3 until a date to be determined when we can gather the other information necessary to make a decision.
Second.
Motion by Kaiser, second by O'Meara. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. And ladies, thank you for your presentation. We've learned a lot. I would ask you to get a copy of what your proposed contract would be, and we'll pick it up at a later date and time. Thank you very much. We're going to move on to action item number 4, to consider authorizing mayor's signature on a task order with Keller. And Jason Van Gilder has this. Hi, Jason.
Hey, good evening, Mayor. Council members, Jason Van Gilder, your Public Works Director. Here's the speak first on behalf of a contract with Keller Associates to repair a culvert crossing underneath Dewey Street. This is probably 200, 300 feet north of the police station. If you look, there's a pretty good dip in the road that's been there a bunch of years, longer than I have been. I've heard we've been trying to fix this since before I got here, and here we are, ready to get a plan to fix it. So, ask for a motion to approve this contract for Keller Associates in an amount not to exceed $60,600.
Questions, council?
Seems kind of high to replace a culvert. How much engineering do you need to dig a hole and put a culvert in?
You have to get along with the drainage district that owns the culvert.
Oh, there is the rub, right there.
Okay. Does that answer your questions?
Yes, it does.
Okay. All right, then I move we authorize the mayor to execute a consultant service task order with Keller and Associates for the design of Dewey Avenue Culvert Replacement Project in an amount not to exceed $60,600.
Second.
Motion by Kaiser, second by O'Meara. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is unanimous. Thank you, Jason. If you'll stay there, Jason, we've got some other business to take care of. That's items 5, 6, and 7. Number 5 is to consider a change order with Knife River. Would you go into that one, please?
I'd be glad to. This particular change order number 3, is to salvage or remove existing guardrail. As they were getting ready to take it out, Canyon Highway 4 showed up and said, oh, by the way, that's our guardrail, and we'd like it back. So instead of just demolishing it, they took it apart a little more carefully and took it to Canyon Highway 4. So that is the cost for change order number 3.
And the reason that it's not Canyon 4's responsibility, because it's our road at that point.
Because it's our project.
It's our project.
It's our project that's taking out there.
Okay. And Canyon 4 is nice enough to store it for us at their yard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Interesting. Then I'm going to approve the change order number 3 with Knife River in an amount not to exceed $3,315.73.
Second.
Motion by Kaiser, second by O'Meara. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is unanimous. Item number 6 is to consider a change order with Knife River for the placement of pavement marking.
Yes.
Jason.
This is on the temporary bypass road. When they went to pave the road and then looked to see if we had a pay item for striping. We did not have a pay item for striping. They asked us, do we want this striped? And we said, yes, we want this striped, and we thought it was in their contract. We went and looked in the contract and didn't find it in the contract. I went and reached out to the engineer. He looked as well and didn't see it in there. The design that we had for the bypass didn't have painting in there. So at the time it was, I think about $1,200 in painting. Then they said, actually Canyon Highway 4 showed up and said, oh, you're also gonna have to grind off the old markings because that's the way you do temporary paving. He said, yes, go get the temporary pavement markings ground off and get the new stuff in. All of it was done by Curtis Clean Sweep, which we've worked, and they do a lot of street painting for us, so the costs were reasonable from what we usually pay Curtis Clean Sweep, with a small markup from Mike Herber for coordinating it all. So that is, the request is for that change order for $2,575.75.
Isn't this something that would be normal on any road construction project?
Typically in road construction projects like this one, we pay for each of the items in a bid quantity. We specify a bid amount and quantity. For instance, rock, concrete, pipe, we pay by the linear foot or by the ton or by the square foot of sidewalk. It would be typical to have, in fact, I think we do have final pavement striping in there by the lineal foot.
Did we in the city actually design this project, or did we put it out to bid to be designed?
We designed the roundabout part. The bypass was a conceptual sketch provided by our designer.
So it wasn't ever actually put out for design?
That's...
I'll try and help you.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor.
The roundabout design was done by a design engineer, and then it was bid by Knife River. The bypass was not part of the original design by our design engineer. As near as I pecked at this pretty hard, as Jason knows, and it looks to me like you and I can tell, think the design engineer should have had it in there as a line item. The design engineer said, oh, no, the city will handle that as a separate item. So each of them thought the other person was taking care of it, and it wasn't taken care of. And it's it just depends on who you want to point the finger at to say it's your fault. But a contractor is still expecting to get paid.
Well, it's awful nice of them to point it out to us.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And since there's already striking down there. All right, then I move we approve change order number 4 with Knife River an amount not to exceed $2,575.57.
Second.
Motion by Kaiser, second by O'Meara. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Item number 7 is to consider approval of Knife River for installation of electrical conduits
Yes.
to the center. Jason, you take care of this, please.
Be glad to. This particular conduit has not been installed yet, so you do have maybe more of a choice here. This is to bring power to the center of the island so that we could put some lights on. If we wanted to run a pump that ran a little fountain in there, we could do that. I think all that concept for what's going to happen in the center of the island is advancing, and they've got some cool ideas. I think most of them are going to require a little bit of power. So this would be to get that power to the center island and not have to tear up our street at a later date.
Forethought.
We're trying.
There you go.
Council questions on the power? Councilman Murray.
Is the electrical wire included in this bid?
Yes.
All right, excellent.
Gonna cover that. Good call. Good call, Councilman Murray. All right, then I move we approve change order number 5 with Knife River in an amount not to exceed $9,488.
Second.
Motion by Kaiser, second by O'Meara. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And that is unanimous. We are to the public mayor and council comments portion. If you would hand me the public sign-in sheet. Is there anybody that wants to testify that hasn't signed in? Right now, it's blank. It's not? Oh, well, I can't see that far, so you're gonna have to bring it to my desk. Mike Grafe is signed up. Mr. Grafe.
Mike Grafe, 1889 Ridgeway. Just in it, these are comments, opinionated comments, however you want to call them. I kind of enjoyed the scrutiny that we had tonight with the city council and all the interaction on how we're going to handle pets, stray pets. That was kind of cool. And you guys did a lot of scrutinizing. I'm patting you on the back for that. But what I would like to see is, this was in the news, April 29th, 2023. New Idaho Department of Water Resources order would force 900 groundwater users to curtail use. This is in southeastern Idaho. I lived there for over 40 years. I called my neighbor over there. He gave me some figures on the number of wells being drilled in the state of Idaho per month. And it was astronomical. This curtailment, potential curtailment for 900 users, the way I'm reading this, that includes all manner of groundwater users, including farming, irrigation, commercial, and industrial users. I don't think by law they can stop water to subdivisions. However, where we're putting in subdivisions throughout the state and right here in Middleton by the hundreds, it's all people that have a straw in the pot of water underneath us, the aquifer. There might be a different aquifer over here than there is in southeastern Idaho, but my point is, they're in the process right now of potential curtailment in southeastern Idaho. They've got a watershed that's as bigger than ours, and to replenish the aquifer, and they're talking some serious, potentially serious issues. I'd like to see the scrutiny on the development and the size of developments and the number of them that are coming and coming at a rapid rate of speed. That's that part. Also, I believe it was around a year ago, around Lake Lowell, there was a number of larger type deals and people drilling domestic wells, and they were starting to dry up wells in the Lake Lowell area, and they wanted a curtailment on that. Napa right now is in the process of expanding their area impact towards Lake Lowell and west of there. They're all going to be on city water. So, oh, well, good, they're not drilling a well. The city's got a well, and when the city runs out of water, they're going to drill another well. So it doesn't make any difference if you got 10 wells or 110 wells. It's all coming out of the same pot of water.
Take a minute and finish up, Mike.
One other thing I want to bring up, and that's what is a Lava Ridge wind product? Lava Ridge wind project. That I heard Rish today. I was driving and I had the local news station on with a deal, and they had to pull up a clip of Rish in a Senate hearing interviewing our infamous Department of Energy or Department of whoever she was. It's got nothing to do about male or female. But this woman, they couldn't answer the question. There's 140-some thousand acres. This particular article is claiming it's 190-some thousand acres. That's going to be used to put up windmills. The turbines have a maximum height, including the rotor, of up to 740 feet tall. Now, Rish asked this government official if she'd ever been to Seattle, and it was comical the way that conversation went. But he asked if you ever seen the Space Needle or the needle thing in Seattle. He said it's 140 feet taller than that, what some of these windmills are going to be. This is all stuff that's coming, and the kicker on this was, all the power being generated by that is going to California. We don't get any of it. We furnish the property, the land, the acreage to put the windmills up, plus all the acreage it's gonna take to run the frickin' power lines to California. And if you wanna say I'm full of beans, call Senator Rich full of beans, because I got this right what he was talking about in that Senate hearing. And something's gotta stop, guys, or at least we gotta get a better handle on how we're doing this, because once the wells start going dry, it's too late. That doesn't happen overnight. I've heard estimates that some of the snow melt and runoff that goes to the aquifers takes 10 years to get from the top of the mountain into the aquifer. Now, I might be full of beans repeating something like that, and the person who said it might be full of beans. But the point of the matter is, once you start sucking that aquifer down, and they're deepening wells. When I lived in southeastern Idaho, they had to deepen wells regularly. I'm just saying, we spent a lot of time on pets, and we spent a lot of time on nickel and diamond stuff. To me, we need to spend a little bit more time on what the heck's happening with our development and the impacts it can have.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions for Mr. Grief?
Yeah, any questions? Answer to the best of my ability.
Looks like you're good. Good. Council comments? Councilman Murray.
Mike, have you been to the Idaho Department of Water Resources? They have monitoring stations and wells all over the state, including, I think it's at least a dozen, right in the Middleton area. There's quite a few. If you want to go on there, you can see the historical record as well as current levels.
Okay.
It's pretty informational.
If we're going to ask him questions, I need to bring him to the mic, so.
I just wanted to make sure he was aware of that.
Okay.
I'm aware of that. No, I have not been on, but in coming to planning and zoning and city council meetings, all I hear is the city of Middleton's capacity for sewer, water, and all that stuff will meet the immediate needs on this. Well, that's an arbitrary deal as well. We won't know if we have the stuff to meet that. What the pump's pumping today might meet that need. But next week, 6 months down the road or whatever, when all these outfits are sucking the water out of the aquifer, are we gonna meet that need? And,
Okay.
okay.
Answer the question. You're okay, Mike.
Any other questions?
All right, thank you very much. Council comment?
None from me. Good.
Well, I'll comment on Mike's just a little bit. I got a couple things. The water situation, Middleton really is lucky. We live on one of the very finest, best aquifers in all of Treasure Valley. Middleton constantly fights infiltration into our sewer lines that are several feet deep. If we have a crack or a bad line installed, water runs in, goes down to our sewer plant, and we treat it. Since I came in, we budgeted monies to fix that, and then have stopped hundreds and hundreds of thousands of gallons going to our septic. And I need to give our public works people credit due here. They've done a good job of working with the contractors that do that. So nice job, guys, there. In fact, I want to give all our staff really, we've got a good team working hard here. It's some really quality work. I'd like to thank the citizens that show up to this meeting, that attend. I think you should be commended too for your attentiveness here, and you might feel like you're a little bit of a pest. Well, I think that's a pretty good thing for the city of Middleton to have people as concerned as you about local city government. So don't ever think that. I don't know a thing about Lava Ridge, but I do know what's going on here in town, and good stuff is going on. It's thanks to city council and staff and the citizens. All right, now I know there's a bunch of students here that need to have things signed, and it's 6:40, and we are at the end of this city council meeting. Students, you can come forward.
Thank you.